Joining us all the way from Hawaii, but originally from the Ann Arbor area, Luna and Nate are professional chefs who run the vegan food blog, Cooking Up Vegan. Combined, Luna and Nate have spent over 15 years as professional chefs, and they are excited to share a couple of their recipes with you tonight. Whether you're interested in plant-based eating for the animals, the planet, your health, or for everything, cookingupvegan.com has tons of easy, unique, and delicious recipes that are great for everyone. And tonight they will be demoing their vegan chicken wings, vegan ranch dressing, and the refreshing dragon fruit lemonade.
Thanks so much for that intro.
All right. Aloha, everybody. Hi, we're Nate and Luna here. Today we're going to be making a few things for you. So we're going to be making our vegan chicken wings. Yeah, we said that, vegan chicken wings. They're going to be made from seitan. So if you're not familiar with what seitan is, it's basically wheat meat, as we call it, or it's a imitation meat that's made out of vital wheat gluten or different types of flours. Yeah, we're gonna make those wings for you, and then we have a really nice barbecue sauce. We're gonna make those with those easy barbecue sauce. Then we're also gonna be making a little hemp ranch to dip in that. Now this hemp ranch, we love to dip the wings in. Classic flavors you got going on there, barbecue wings with ranch. But also, you know, this ranch can be used for many different things as well. Not just these, you know, you can just dip your veggies in it, have it a snack at a party. So yeah, without further ado, we'll get started here. As Luna was just showing you, this is the vital wheat gluten that we're going to be using today. This is going to be the base of our vegan chicken. So this we bought on Amazon. You can get it at different stores, maybe Whole Foods or your local health food store, wherever that may be. Yeah, so this is going to be something you'll find there or online.
The thing with vital wheat gluten is that when it's mixed and it's kneaded, its texture becomes so similar and chewy to like chicken or steak. And so that's why in vegan food, if you're doing mock meats, a lot of times if you're not gluten-free, a lot of vegans opt for this option and use this ingredient.
So this is the bowl we have. We already have mixed some stuff in here. So we have the vital wheat gluten in here. And then what we've also put is some of this chickpea flour. So this chickpea flour gives a little bit of flavor, but more so for texture and fiber. So when you're eating vital wheat gluten, there's really no fiber within the vital wheat gluten. It's just more so the protein strands from the wheat.
It's really high in protein though.
So it's definitely great for you. A lot of protein, low calorie, low fat. This, however, is going to add that fiber that is so important to your diet here. This in a quarter cup alone has 5 grams of fiber. So this is some good stuff to add in there.
And in the vital wheat gluten, it says the serving size is 1/4 of a cup, and there's 23 grams of protein in 1/4 of a cup of vital wheat gluten. So
yep,
you can get your protein and be vegan.
And there's 5 grams of protein in a serving of this. So these are packed with protein. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
Anyways, the chickpea flour is not only for some flavor, but as I mentioned, texture. If you just use vital wheat gluten on its own, it's going to be a really chewy texture, like you overcooked your meat and it wasn't.
Or it'll be more like a steak type of a chew rather than like a soft
fatty
chicken
piece that you can't chew up. So yeah, that's no good there. Also, what we put in here was we put a little bit of onion powder. This is just some basic onion powder we got. And other than that, that's it. So just those simple ingredients here. Luna's gonna mix these dry ingredients real quick in this bowl. So again, just 3 ingredients for the dry. And then I have a wet mixture over here that we already made up ahead of time. Now this is another 3 ingredient mixture. So you got 6 ingredients total to make these chicken wings. Vegan chicken wings here. what I have here is I have Worcestershire sauce. Sorry, that it's always hard to say, even as.
But make sure
as a
it's
chef.
vegan, because a lot of times they put anchovies in here if you're into that.
Yes.
But
So this is just the water, 3/4 cup of water, and then the Worcestershire sauce. As Luna mentioned, make sure it doesn't have any anchovies in it. This one is just so happens to not have it in it. And then also what we put in here, we put some of this better than bouillon base. This is going to give the flavor to this liquid and the flavor to the chicken as well. This one we have is roasted garlic here, but we've done a lot of different kinds of this. So this is our favorite brand we like to use. You can use any bouillon paste you want, but they also do make a no chicken one, which is really good for this recipe. Obviously, it imitates that chicken flavor. They were sold out at the store, so I got this roasted garlic one. They also have a vegetable one. So really, whichever one you find at the store is going to be okay.
it'll be good no matter what.
So now that we have this mixture and this, we're going to just pour this right into there. And then all we're going to do is literally just mix it for a little bit of time here, just until it forms a dough ball. So fold it over a couple times just to get all the dry ingredients mixed in there. All right, so here you can see it's coming together here. It's like a ball. I can hold it in my hand. It's not sticking to my hand, but it's not super loose either. So that's it. That's really the whole process. And then it's ready to steam. So we're gonna get it prepared to steam. You can do this a couple ways. So you can just take little chunks like we have here, and you can just put them directly into the steamer pan. But we're professional chefs, so we like to get fancy with it. So what we do is we take a little portion of it, and then we kind of mold it in our hands with, if you will. And this is fun also too. Like this is like, you can do this with the kids, and this makes for a really fun activity for the family. And yeah, you make these into these little chicken wing shapes right here. And it's therapeutic, honestly. So
you can also use scissors if you want to cut pieces off, just for shaping reasons. It's really up to your preference, but yeah. Nate made a cute little nugget piece right here. And you put barbecue sauce on top and you won't even tell it's not real chicken.
So I'm going to show you our setup here for steaming. So if you have a steamer basket at home, you can use one of those. We just have these pans here. We bought this little insert here. It goes right in your pan. We have, it's kind of hard to see, and I don't want to dump the water on my computer, but you can see we have just a little bit, maybe an inch of water, half inch to an inch of water. We're going to place this steamer pan right on the top there. And the wings are going to go right into the steamer pan. So one thing we usually do, excuse me 1 second, is we'll take a little spray or a little bit of oil. I'm just going to gently put a little bit on my hands, just enough to really just coat this a little bit. That way the seitan doesn't stick to your steamer, because it can stick. So you just put a little bit of avocado oil, olive oil, whatever, or a nonstick spray even works really easy. But if you don't have nonstick spray, just a little bottle, a little dab on your fingers there. All right, so as Luna makes those, we're gonna start to talk about the barbecue sauce a little bit. So this barbecue sauce is, we have ingredients right here and right here. Again, we have a dry spice mixture. And then we also have this mixture here. So this is a 4-ingredient barbecue sauce. This is super simple and easy to make. What we have here is we have just some basic ketchup. We just had this like Hunt's no fructose natural ketchup there. So that's going to be the base of your barbecue sauce. And then we love to put a little mustard in our barbecue sauce. So this is going to be kind of like a Carolina style barbecue sauce, if you've ever had that.
But this recipe that we're doing has kind of got like a Hawaiian twist to it. So there's this really amazing product, line of products. It's called Untitled Chapter, and it's local to the island of Kauai. And so they have all different types, but lilikoi is the Hawaiian word for passion fruit. So we have an infused passion fruit mustard that we're using for this. But if you don't have it, no worries. You can just use your favorite type of mustard.
Yeah, so like Luna said, this is a passion fruit, or lilikoi as they say in Hawaiian, lilikoi mustard here. It's kind of like a Dijon. You can use regular Dijon, or you could use yellow mustard if you want. But if you really want this flavor, which you're gonna want to try this out, you can actually buy this on Amazon and have it shipped here. So Anti-Lilikoi is the brand. And it gives not only the little bit of twang of the mustard, but a little bit of that unique sweetness from the passion fruit. So yeah, so again, this is just the ketchup in the mustard here. And then in here, we just have a little bit of smoked paprika. You can use normal paprika if you want to. We happen to have smoked. And then also just chili powder. So just those 4 ingredients. Mix them in there. And then I'm just gonna mix these all with a fork here. You're gonna wanna mix it nice until everything's evenly incorporated. I just have a fork here. You could use a whisk and a bowl if you want. And that's it. That's it. You have some easy, really easy homemade barbecue sauce. This barbecue sauce you can put on anything. We like it on these wings. But yeah, you can use it with any barbecue sauce recipe you want. All right, so here we have the wings here. We're just gonna evenly spread them out to make sure they have a lot of room. Now these are gonna absorb some of the water as they steam. So you leave a little bit of space for them, just so as they expand, they don't stick together. So I'm gonna go place this on the stove here, and I'm gonna place this on medium-low heat. As you see the steam rise, you're gonna set, once you see the steam start going, you're gonna set a 25-minute timer. So we're gonna go put these on the stove over here. Right, so while those are cooking, Luna's gonna start talking to you guys about the hemp ranch we have here.
So all of our recipes, we like to keep them super simple, really easy. If you're new to plant-based, or if you're new to vegan food, some of these ingredients might sound a little foreign, but that's totally okay. So it's all about learning and experimenting with cooking, you know? So our base of our ranch is gonna be cashews. So we really like to keep our food and our recipes, for the most part, whole food plant-based. And so cashews are really amazing when they're blended up, because they really mimic well, don't mimic, they are really just creamy, and they kind of resembles like that creamy ranch that we all grew up with, you know? So these have already been pre-soaked. You can totally use cashews that haven't been soaked, but the trick is when they're soaked, the blade is better, easier to, I guess, go through them. And so they just become really smooth and soft. And so when they're soaked, you're less likely to have like grainy type of a cream, if that makes any sense. So I'm just gonna pour that in my high-speed blender here. And then in here, I've got some onion powder. I've got some hemp hearts. Hemp hearts are really amazing. They have your omegas in here, and they also have like a lot of protein, and they're just really good for you. We like to sprinkle these on like on top of pizzas and top of salads. Really, we like to put them in as much stuff as we can just because they're so nutritionally dense. There's no THC in here at all. It comes from hemp. It comes from the cannabis plant, but it comes from this strand of hemp. So we're using that, and we're gonna add that along with the onion powder, and we have some dill in here. So at the store, they didn't have fresh dill, so we're opting in for dried. And when you're cooking, you can always switch up ingredients and experiment. So if it calls for dried or if it calls for fresh, you can switch them out and it'll still be really yummy and delicious. Okay, and then in here, I've got my wet mixture of water and ACV. So the ACV is going to give it that twang, kind of like that soury component that you get with ranch.
And ACV, for those of you that aren't familiar, so ACV is just a term we use for apple cider vinegar.
Yes.
This is just a raw, unfiltered, organic apple cider vinegar we got from Costco. These are great vinegars. Vinegar has lots of health benefits for you. So definitely check out the apple cider vinegar. Raw and unfiltered is the best. So.
And if you don't have ACV, you can always use lemon juice. So that really works too. Yeah,
so really what you're going for is just that kind of tanginess you get with ranch. Now, traditional ranch, you're gonna have buttermilk. You're gonna have maybe a little bit of lemon in there, but the herbs, is really what brings the flavor of ranch along with the buttermilk. So we instead of the buttermilk, you have your cashews and water, which is going to create like a thick, creamy like consistency. And then the apple cider vinegar will give the tang as if you put some buttermilk in there. And then the herbs, like I said, these are kind of traditional herbs you would put in there: chives, dill, and parsley if you were making a homemade ranch. So that's just, we have a mixture here. We have in our recipe, I believe, 2 teaspoons of dill, 1 teaspoon of chopped parsley, 1 teaspoon chopped chives, but you can add as much herbs as you want. Fresh herbs are so good for you. They have so many health benefits, and they're just super flavorful. So we're going to keep these herbs aside though.
Yeah, so one thing when you're cooking and you're adding herbs, it's best to add fresh herbs at the end so that they retain their freshness. And so also, for example, you can add them before you blend into your blender, but then it's going to come out green, so it's nice to blend first and then you can fold in your herbs afterwards. So just gonna blend this up.
So if it's a little too thick, you can add a little bit of water. And we're going for like a little bit of a thicker ranch, so not like a watery ranch. So what she's doing here is just basically adding little bits of water as needed, just so it gets enough smoothness. So you still don't want it really chunky, but
unless you like it like that.
Unless you want it chunky, but we like it nice and smooth. So. probably need maybe just a little bit more water.
You see the thickness? It's so thick that it's hanging onto the walls.
It's like the DQ shake, but no, I don't want to do that.
But yeah, I'm just gonna add just a little bit of water. All right. And there you are. We've got our ranch, friends.
All right.
All right.
Get that spatula.
Yeah. So I'm just gonna fold it in here with the herbs.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, you want to show them, Nate?
So here we have some really nice, thick, creamy vegan ranch. Super simple, super easy, very healthy, no cholesterol.
No cholesterol.
All right, so we're just gonna set that aside. We have our barbecue sauce here now.
Got our barbecue, we've got our ranch.
Okay, so now it's about halfway through the cooking time for the wings here. So I'm gonna show you what we do halfway through. So here we have the nice and steamy wings. So we're just gonna take a little spatula here and we're just gonna flip them over.
So this is what the cooked side looks like, the steamed side. And then this is the non-steamed side. So it's gonna be darker and a little bit more smooth on the steamed side. So we're just gonna flip it over so that both sides are really nicely cooked. Like that.
All right. We're just gonna pop this lid back on. I'm gonna place it back on the stove for another about 15 minutes. So I flipped it 10 minutes through. Yeah, you wanna go about halfway. So anywhere from 10 to 15 minutes through that 25 minutes mark.
And so while we're waiting for that, we're gonna get started on the lemonade. So we have a really fun lemonade. I'm really obsessed with infusing fruits into all different types of drinks. And so this was a really fun one that I liked because it's also really fun when you can like play with colors and have really colorful food. So here I've got 4 lemons. And I'm gonna make a big batch. So
this is also a tool that we want to show you all. This is a great tool for juicing lemons. No need to worry about any seeds, trying to juice it with your hands and whatnot. This is, I think this one actually was a gift from Williams and Sonoma from my brother and sister-in-law for Christmas. And so, yeah, Williams and Sonoma or just online, but it has little holes in there. So it's a great tool there.
So when you have lemons that are really big, and if you're going to use a juicer like this, most people will cut their lemons in half like this. But a lot of the times, if you cut it like this, you're not going to get all of the juice out. So if you cut it in 3s, so you have like your end, your middle, and then the other end, you're going to get a lot more juice out of your lemons. So can we start juicing them? Perfect. Lemons always just smell so good and so fresh. Love it. So to make this, we're making like a pink lemonade with dragon fruit. Dragon fruit's really awesome because it's got that pink color. And interestingly enough, dragon fruit is a really safe way to, if you're into dyeing foods, like making pink cinnamon rolls or something, you can use dragon fruit juice. And unlike beets, dragon fruit juice won't stain anything. So I don't know if any of you have worked with beets, but beet juice just kind of stains your hands and cutting board and everything. But yeah, and so dragon fruit, we've seen them at Meijer before. I'm not sure if they're in season in Michigan right now, but there's different varieties. So there's dragon fruit that have yellow skin and a white flesh consistency inside. And then there's dragon fruit that have like a pink outer layer and a pink inside. And that's the one that we use. I find them to be really sweet, the pink ones. And if you've never had dragon fruit before, think of like the taste, like the light sweetness of a watermelon with like the texture of a kiwi. That's kind of what dragon fruit is. And so you can use fresh dragon fruit and just cube it up. Or we've found a really nice big bag at Costco of frozen dragon fruit that we really like. And so we're going to be using frozen dragon fruit. And the nice thing about frozen fruit is that you can use your frozen fruit instead of diluting your lemonade with more ice. So I don't know if any of you have had that, where you have this really nice cold glass of lemonade and you're enjoying it and taking your time, and then it becomes watery at the end, you know? So if you use frozen fruit as your kind of replacement for ice cubes, it's nice. It's really good. All right. So I'm gonna get the glasses. You can fill that with water. So for anyone interested, this is what the flesh of dragon fruit looks like. It's really pink and it's really nice. And yeah, we're gonna use that today. And so I had these prepped out in the freezer. Nate's gonna get us water. Yeah. And so for our sweetener, for the lemonade, we really like to use maple syrup. Maple syrup is just our kind of go-to. We don't really like using refined sugar or anything like that. So we're gonna pour it when the water.
And what ratio of water to lemon?
So you can always play around with your lemon juice to water ratio, but I like to do 4 cups of water to about 4 lemons. That's just me. I like it a little bit more on the tart side, but again, you can always play with it and do what makes you feel good and what you like. Perfect.
All right, so here we have our 4 cups of water with those lemons.
All right. And then here I'm gonna just pour in the maple. Perfect. And also, if you want to jazz up your lemonade, a really nice thing that I like to do sometimes is I like to put a little bit, like a tiny pinch of cayenne powder. It feels really cleansing when I'm drinking it. Also, you can even add like a little bit of turmeric powder to it as well, because the turmeric will really brighten up the like the color of your lemonade. So all up to you, personal preference. How are the wings? Good.
We're just gonna grab our blender here.
It's a little heavy. All right, so we have a Vitamix. They're great, especially if you're cooking a lot of vegan foods, just because they have a really high-powered motor, and we use a lot of nuts, so this is just perfect. Okay, let's turn this on. All right. So this is our 3-ingredient lemonade: maple, lemon juice, and water. Here we are.
All right, so you see that beautiful color that gives it? It's really nice. And like Luna said, it's kind of just a subtle sweetness as a watermelon would be with the texture of a kiwi. I think that's a perfect way to describe it. But yeah, this is super refreshing, definitely nice for right now and a nice summer day. There's several different ways you can garnish it if you want, if you're having a party. You could even make this into alcoholic drink if you want. Throw some vodka in there, have a pool party, whatever, you know, maybe a little mint. Or you could just
It's really nice with the mint.
Straight up garnish with some lemon.
With a lemon wedge, it looks really nice too. All right, so I'm just gonna set these over here while we're waiting for our wings. So
yeah, so our wings are just about done here. All right, so we're gonna take our wings off here. I don't know if you saw this team, but that was pretty hot there. So you can see they've gotten significantly larger in size here. So they've probably about maybe a third more of the size. So we're just gonna get a plate here to cool them off in the fridge. Now we have some in the fridge that are already cooled down because it's really important to cool them down first before you sear them. So we've already had some cooled down here. So here we have another plate that we've already cooked and cooled. You're going to want to let these cool for about an hour or so, just so they firm up a little bit. They are pretty soft when you take them out, so just be mindful of that. But we're just going to take these on a tray over here. Yeah, we're just going to put these on a sheet tray we got here, and then we're going to pop them in the fridge. Yeah. Right, so there we have that.
the nuggets.
So then I just emptied this pan out from the water that was steaming in it. And so we're gonna take these and we're gonna give these a little bit of a sear. So I won't be able to show you this part since the stove is over there, but I'll just explain to you. It's a simple process. Basically, I'm just gonna heat this to medium-high heat here. We're gonna add just a touch of oil, and then we're gonna pan sear them. So we're gonna sear them maybe 2 minutes or so on each side, just till they get a little bit of color on them and they're hot. After they're seared, I'll bring them back over and we'll mix them on up.
So I'm just pouring the barbecue sauce in a nice large big bowl, and then I'm just gonna toss the nuggets, chicken wings, in here. So yeah, if you want, these could also be nuggets. I mean, we really like to put them in like this type of a shape where they look more like wings, but you can also make them more round so that they're like nuggets.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning too, yeah, you can just tear them off with your hands. We've tried a bunch of different styles with these. We've tried to make a whole like chicken leg before, but that one was a little bit too big. We prefer like these wing style. So we also have made little popcorn chicken nuggets. So yeah, feel free to play around with the shapes and whatnot.
All right, Take it.
All right, so Luna's gonna sear those up here. Should take about 3-4 minutes, maybe a couple minutes each side, like I said. I'm just gonna put this away really quick.
So while they're searing, does anybody have any questions about the process so far? Anything maybe?
We did get a couple questions that came in.
Yeah, go for it.
Somebody asked, how long do you soak the cashews?
Oh, so you can soak the cashews overnight if you want. If you really want to speed up the process, you can also boil them too, or you can let them sit in like really warm water for a minimum of 30 minutes. That's what I would recommend. Mm-hmm.
And how long would you boil them for?
I guess anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes.
Awesome.
Yeah. Just put enough water in the pot so that they're more or less submerged. They'll come up to the surface though eventually, but just so that there's enough water that they can get really hot. Yeah.
And somebody asked, should the chicken be covered when steaming?
Covered in what?
Covered when steaming with a lid.
Yeah. So we use a lid so that the steam stays in there and it's still able to cook all around it, if you know what I mean. Because if you cook it without the lid, the steam's just gonna go up and you're gonna have like an unevenly cooked vegan wing, if that makes sense. But yeah.
It basically just allows it to absorb the moisture. It keeps the moisture retained within the pan itself. You can even use like vegetable stock to steam these in. It'll add even more flavor into those wings. But yeah, you want to keep the lid on the whole time, just so they absorb that moisture, because they'll plump up a little bit and it'll cook the vital wheat gluten and chickpea flour and give it the nice texture you want.
Yeah. And when you do steam it though, like Nate mentioned earlier, be sure to give them a little bit of room, just because they are going to expand while they're steaming. But when they do cool down, they will shrink a little bit, but just something to keep in mind.
Can you use vegetable broth if you do not have bouillon cubes?
Sorry, what?
Can you use vegetable broth if you do not have bouillon cubes?
Yeah, you can totally use vegetable broth. Yeah, I would be careful. We haven't tested it with that, but you can definitely use it. The only thing with that is just to be mindful with how much liquid you're using, just so that it doesn't be too runny or it messes up the consistency. But definitely,
right. Yeah, definitely.
You can totally
so
use
what
that.
you do is just take the water in the recipe. It was about 3/4 cup of water. Just use 3/4 cup of vegetable broth. And then, you can add the vegan Worcestershire straight to the broth.
Yeah.
And there you go. You have even one less ingredient to worry about.
Yeah.
So here we've seared the nuggets here. You can see them. They got some color on them. This one's nice.
This one's nice. Got it like a nice sear on it. The searing, you don't have to sear it, but we really enjoy it seared because it gives it more of that like crunchy type of bite, and it's just more enjoyable for us personally to eat it that way.
If you're doing no oil, you can, like she said, not sear them. If you want to reheat them, because they still do have to cool, you can just put a little water in the pan, just to warm them back up to temperature. But the searing with a little bit of oil gives it that little bit of fattiness on the outside, like the chicken skin would have. And it gives it a really nice texture and flavor. So now that they're cooked, we just add them in here. We're just gonna mix those up.
We're just gonna toss these up. This is my favorite part. All right. You have my pizza? And so here we go, guys. Chicken wings. Vegan wings.
There you have it. Super simple.
I'm just gonna put them. I feel like this one looks the most like a wing. You can get creative in how you form them and whatnot, but we low-key have a little competition of who can make it more like a chicken wing. But okay, so I'm just gonna add them to the plate.
I'm gonna stack them here a little bit nicely. You can also toss the top, whoops. If you don't want to have a separate bowl and dirty up a bowl, you can also just take the barbecue sauce you made, toss however much of the barbecue sauce you want right in the pan, sear that up.
All right, so here we go. Hot plate of wings, all vegan, cruelty-free, cholesterol-free, high in protein, with a little Hawaiian twist with the lilikoi passion fruit. And then we have our ranch dressing here. I'm gonna put on the side.
Since we're fancy, we're gonna garnish these with a little bit of scallions here. Just gonna give it that nice little finished look here.
And here you go, nice job.
Cheers. So delicious, so refreshing.
This is perfect for summer, and if you're really into sports and stuff, we always make this for like family gatherings, for watch sporting events and whatnot. And we've had family members that think it's real chicken, and they're like, "Oh, thanks so much for making this for us," and we're like, "It's not real chicken."
Yeah, just tell them it's boneless wings. Maybe surprise the guests a little bit if you're hosting a party or your family even.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna give these a try. So we just love to just dip them right in that. Look at that. I mean, honestly, that it takes me back. Growing up, I loved wings. You can do these wings with hot sauce too if you want. If you like hot wings and ranch, you can do any sauce you'd like with them, but this is our favorite for sure.
Here's a bite.
So good. You can see the inside there. It even looks like a chicken texture.
Yeah. And so there you have it. Vegan boneless wings, hemp ranch, and we have our dragon fruit lemonade.
Thanks so much. Guys, that was so great and everything looks so good. I'm really jealous that we're not all there able to try it.
We're really excited.
Well, I've never made anything with seitan myself, even though I've been vegan for about 10 years now. That must be, yeah, that's like the next thing I need to make. You guys made it look so good and so.
It's really simple, honestly.
You know, I even myself, switching over to eating this way about 3.5 years ago, even being a chef, I was kind of intimidated about seitan, I mean, it's like, oh, well, I got to get this special wheat gluten and what is this? But honestly, it's really not that hard. It's as simple as I showed you there. It's you pour the 3 ingredients into the bowl, you pour your wet mixture and you just mix it a little bit until it comes to a ball and then steam it. It's maybe a couple extra steps, that you're not used to, but as soon as you do it once, you're never going to go back to buying it again. Not only is this more flavorful than the seitan you buy in stores, but the texture is better. It's usually a little bit healthier than some of the ingredients they put in there.
Yeah, you're in charge of what you put in there, basically.
And it saves you so much money.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised. Some of these vegan items at the store, they can be really expensive. I'm sure you all know this. And it turns a lot of people off, you know, like, why would I eat this way? It's so much harder. It's more expensive to, you know, if you want a meat replacement. But here's a meat alternative that's not only easy to make, but budget friendly as well.
It is,
so,
yeah.
Take a look online at the Vital Wheat Gluten we talked about, and yeah, let's play around with it. It's definitely fun, great activity for you, family, whoever. So
a cool thing too with Seitan is like it's not just limited to like making chicken, right? So you can use the Seitan, the Vital Wheat Gluten with chickpea flour to make it a little bit looser and not as dense. But if you wanted, you could even make a whole vegan steak. So you would do the same thing. You just make the dough ball and you would just knead it more, and it would activate the gluten to have more of that chewiness that like a steak has versus chicken. So, you know, you just get a big bag and you can make chicken, you can make steak, you can make whatever you want, you know, and just like go to town with it. So.
Yeah, so I think that concludes our presentation. That's all we got for you all today. But if there's any questions live, we'd be more than happy to answer. If you think of any questions that you forgot, send us a message. We're on Instagram, Facebook, our website, cookingupvegan.com.
Someone just asked, do you always recommend steaming seitan, or are there other ways to cook it? Like in most of the recipes you use for it, is steaming the primary way to cook it?
Yeah, so steaming is the primary way we like to use it. But again, it depends on what recipes you're making. You can boil it, you can bake it. For example, we have been working on, still haven't perfected a ribs recipe, but that one is a baked seitan. Yeah. There's also like turkey a lot of the times. If you make like your own homemade, you can make your own homemade sliced turkey breast and put it on sandwiches. That we usually boil. Yeah. Because it will absorb a lot more of that liquid and moisture. Whereas like, you know, the ribs baked, you don't really eat a rib and see, wow, that was like the, you know, I mean, ribs could be juicy, but not like a turkey breast, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, it really depends on the, what you're using it for. But for these wings, yeah, steaming is definitely the recommended method.
Yeah.
Awesome. Those all sound great. Someone asked, can this be made gluten-free? My assumption is no, but any recommendations on that?
Unfortunately, no. There are definitely some products out there that are replacement meat alternatives that are gluten-free.
Like you can, it's not going to be like a whole, you know, having to cook from scratch thing, but there is soy protein, like I think they call it soy protein chunks. And they're kind of like these strips of soy protein that have a really similar texture to chicken too. And then that you would just kind of get that in a package at your local supermarket, probably in the vegan section, in the vegetarian section. And then you would just season it with like your favorite poultry seasonings. Yeah, you could do the same
recipe,
barbecue sauce and whatnot, but it is soy based. So as long as you don't have a soy allergy. Yeah, I mean, if it's like really serious, you could just take tofu and just cut up slices of tofu, bake it, and then just put the barbecue sauce on top. But that's something different. But
right, yeah, the gluten in the Vital Wheat gluten really gives it the texture like a meat would have. So definitely try some alternative products from the store. You can do the same barbecue and ranch recipe, and so that's your best bet for if you want to have gluten-free but still want to do the wings.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are good recommendations. And it's nice, you know, just with your barbecue recipe and your ranch recipe that, like you said, it can be used for so many different things if they don't want the gluten.
Totally versatile. Yeah, you could even have just like a crudité board, you know, of like carrots and celery and stuff, and just have the ranch in the center too. Totally aside from the wings. Yeah. We've even put the ranch on like burgers, on like vegan buffalo chicken burgers and stuff. And it's really versatile. It's great. Yeah.
That all sounds great.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So if we can't get our hands on dragon fruit, I know you gave us lots of recommendations on where to find it, but are there any other lemonade flavors you like to make? Or just other like fruit infused drinks in general? You said, Luna, that you were really into making different fruit infused drinks. Do you have any other recommendations?
Totally. I'm like obsessed with having food that's like super vibrant in color. You could add blueberries to your lemonade. You could add strawberries to your lemonade. If you wanted to do like a lemonade slush, you could just do like frozen blueberries or frozen strawberries and just blend it in with your lemonade, and you got your own homemade slushie. Yeah, just go have fun with it. You know, you could even put like chunks of like room temperature fresh fruit in there, anything from like kiwi to like you could even do like watermelon if you wanted, just to experiment with it. Yeah.
Yep, my favorite is the blueberry. So just take some frozen blueberries, same thing that we did here with this. Yeah.
I'm gonna try to see if you can really tell the color. No, that doesn't do anything. Oh, there it is. The lighting's a little off, but this is what it looks like on our side. It's like this like beautiful, vibrant, like magenta color. Yeah. So
that's awesome. That sounds great, making it with blueberries. Definitely gonna try that. Okay, so the last question I have is just if you guys have any other favorite recipes on your website that you recommend we try, in addition to these great ones you demoed for us tonight.
Like mains, snacks, drinks.
Well, we have a lot of them. They're all we don't discriminate against our recipes. They're all good, from our cookies to our you know, cupcakes and whatever you want.
We have a really good meatloaf.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure in the VegMichigan goodie bags, are you still doing the Beyond Meat?
Yeah.
So if you got a goodie bag from VegMichigan and it comes with Beyond Meat, use our recipe for it to make a vegan meatloaf. That's another one that's super easy to make, you know, and like your family won't even know it's not real meat. It's just like, the point isn't to trick people, but it's just to be like a good transition. So the food isn't so foreign to you, to family members, you know, that you can still enjoy it, so that you don't feel like you're giving up your family traditions or like your culture and whatnot, you know, to switch to plant-based. Because food's just very personal, and people have their reasons for eating the way they do, you know, grow up, nostalgia and whatnot. So
yeah, that's originally what pushed us to make the vegan meatloaf. Growing up in my household, and Luna knows this, my mom used to always make meatloaf. And so we were like, how do we make a meatloaf that's vegan? So the Beyond Meat was perfect. Again, you don't have to make any of the meat alternative yourself, because you can just buy that one in the store.
Or get it from VegMichigan.
We mix classic seasonings in there, like the Worcestershire with no anchovies. We do breadcrumbs in there. We do
tomato glaze,
thyme in there, onions, garlic, lots of delicious flavors in there, as you would a traditional meatloaf. We even replaced the egg with like flax-based eggs. We have a whole tutorial and video on how to make that flax egg on our site if you need. But it's simple. It's just flax and water. But yeah, it
we definitely recommend that recipe
so nicely. It's our most popular recipe on our website too. It gets the most clicks out of anything. So
we've also got like a homemade pepperoni too. That's another one that's seitan based. The recipe is really nice because the way that we made it, it's marbled. So it's got like those white speckles in it as well, just like those fat speckles that you see in pepperoni normally.
So that one is a little bit more of a, I'd say, a intermediate level.
You can do it.
It's pretty simple, but it is I'd say this one is a little bit better to try first. But if you feel comfortable with this, go for the pepperoni, because it is the bomb.
It's really
better
good.
than any store alternative. Very, you know, we developed flavors that you would put in traditional pepperoni, lots of spices, fennel, star anise, peppercorns.
Yep.
Yeah, it makes really a really good snack, or just like with your favorite vegan cheese and crackers with that pepperoni, or put it on a pizza, you know.
There's also some really easy recipes, like nice refreshing drinks, you know, like golden milks and stuff like that, or even just like some easy snacks too, you know.
Yeah,
we're chefs, so we really like to dabble in everything, but we're also human, and it's not like we cook like this every day, you know. Sometimes we just make a big batch, you know, and like you can freeze this too, you know, and just like meal prep and have it ready. But you know, we have like also like easier, simple, you know, ready in 30-minute recipes on there.
Yeah, we definitely have some.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Large variety of different ones. So.
That all sounds so great. Really, yeah. I got to try more of your recipes. That's awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So that's all the questions I have. Sheree, I don't know if you have any more questions on your end.
Yeah, I have a couple. So for the wings, kind of two questions that go hand in hand. One person asked, can you use an air fryer? And then another person asked if you can bake the wings if you're oil free, and how long would you recommend and at what temp?
Yeah,
the air fryer.
Yeah, the air fryer would be great.
That's a really good idea.
We don't have an air fryer ourselves yet, but it's going to be on our list because everybody always asks for air fryer recipes. We've used them before and we love them, but just haven't got our hands on one yet. Yes, you can definitely bake these in the oven. So turn your oven to maybe 375, 400, get it nice and toasty. Pop them in there for 10 to 15 minutes just until they're hot. Again, making sure they've been steamed first, going through the whole first process. But then, yeah, you can bake them to heat them up if you're oil free. As we mentioned, you can also just put them in the pan with a little bit of water. Yeah, so those are some great. An air fryer.
That's a really awesome idea,
honestly.
Whoever asked that, you're right on it. Yes.
All right. My next question. Someone asked, "What's the name of the Seitan?" So I think they just wanted to double check the bag.
Oh, the brand.
Yeah.
So we use Anthony's. So I believe it's called Vital Wheat Gluten in the flour form, and once it's cooked, it's called Seitan.
Yeah, so this is called Vital Wheat Gluten. That's the main product that you use. Anthony's is the brand that we bought.
We like it because it's in bulk.
Yeah,
too.
And it's from Costco.
Or you can get it on Amazon, honestly.
It's not too expensive. I think it was maybe, I want to say around $30 for this bag, but this lasts a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Vital Wheat Gluten is the name of the flour that you get. And then it's Seitan. Once you make it into something, it becomes Seitan.
Yeah. It's such a weird name though. I don't know why they call it that, Seitan, but.
Someone asked if you might be able to provide the nutritional information for the wings and the ranch dressing. I think
it's on our website. If you scroll down to the bottom of our recipe, you'll have all of the nutrition facts there.
Perfect.
Yeah, so you have the calories, fat, protein, potassium. What else is there? All of the normal stuff, it's there. Yeah. It's after the recipe though. So you got to scroll down. You can hit jump to recipe, go to the bottom, and it'll be right there.
All right. And then the last comment, not question, is that you guys were really enjoyable and adorable, and they hope you come back soon.
Oh my gosh, thanks so much. We really enjoyed this and so happy you all enjoyed it. Thanks so much to the Commerce Library and VegMichigan for having us. It's such an amazing opportunity.
Of course, we're more than happy to do it again sometime. We look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yeah.